Piper, no! Buddhism! Tsunami! So I watched the season finale of The White Lotus, and I gotta say, man, I am not impressed at all. Now, maybe there's people here that haven't seen, I guess, the last 2 episodes of the last episode, so I won't go into too much in terms of spoilers, but I felt like I had to make this video because it really was such an anticlimactic letdown. Not to say that crazy stuff doesn't happen, because crazy stuff always happens, but that's kind of one of the problems I have with the show fundamentally. There was multiple moments in the show where, and I want to do like a comedy bit on this. It feels like in the writing room, there was one guy, everyone's saying like, how do we take this to the next level? What are we going to do to make this the craziest season yet? And there's like one guy in the darkness taking a drag of a cigarette. What if we had a 15-minute monologue about a character getting railed by ladyboys? I still don't know what they were trying to say with that scene. I really don't. I've been trying to think about it. Spoiler, I guess this is a minor spoiler, but it never gets resolved. They never call attention to it ever again, except for a scene where he's partying with some Thai girls. That's about the only resolution we ever get from that storyline, which to me is like so stupid, because why even include that in the show for the sake of, I guess, shock value? And same thing with the whole incest plotline. If you haven't seen that thus far, you gotta get with the times. I don't think we needed that, especially when it's not necessarily important to the show. And maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I didn't catch some sort of symbolic meaning behind both of those things. Maybe there was something that I was supposed to realize, or some symbolic meaning that I didn't catch. You could absolutely tell the story without 2 of those plot lines in there. Having a brother jerk his brother off is not, I don't think that's essential to the story being told. It does sauce it up. It does spice it up. But like, are we doing this for the sake of just saying that we're spicing it up? Because I feel like that's kind of bad writing. When I think of really tight writing, I think of everything having a meaning, everything playing into everything else. It was like a meta commentary on itself. Like, a lot of the people that go to this island are very vain, right? Of course they are. They're rich people that are the worst of the worst. They go to these islands, they pretend to be better than other people, and then they eventually fall into their debauchery, and that's the way the show is set up. This season almost felt like the show equivalent of that. You know, like the meme, it's like, it insists upon itself.
It insists upon itself.
What does that even mean?
It takes forever getting in, and you spend like 6.5 hours, and then, I can't even get through. I can't even finish the movie.
That's what this show feels like this season. It insists upon itself. Hey, we're the White Lotus, so of course we have to include something that's going to be crazy and something that's going to be over the top. I don't need that. I need something that's going to be an actual payoff. I didn't really feel anything when I saw that scene besides disgust. It was not the type of disgust that I think you want as a writer, where it makes people think. And maybe you can make an argument that that's good writing because that's exactly what the 2 brothers wanted. But by the end episode, I really didn't care either. Like, that's the thing. I just saw the 2 brothers and I was like, okay, they're going to talk it out. And they do. That's all I'll say, but I feel like a lot of the show both drags, but it also, like, it'll pick up momentum at certain points and then just, like, play around with certain ideas. That's a good way of saying it. It's slow, and it plays around with certain ideas without actually executing on them. And I think that's the biggest thing that I don't like. Because if you're going to do something, you got to go all out. You can't just, there's none of this, like, oh, yeah, we're going to, kind of play with the idea of no. If you're gonna set up a plot line, you have to be able to slam dunk it home. I want to do like a section of the video for people that have actually seen the show and seen the finale. Maybe I'll do that because I'm itching to talk about. There's so many more things that I want to talk about. It's formulaic, but at the same time, it does the formula, I feel like, cheaply and not as well as the last 2 seasons. I felt like this is probably the worst season. Also, just I don't care about the recurring characters. I really could care less about whatever her name is. I can't even remember the character's name. And Gary. The characters that I liked. I mean, I remember the Radcliffe family, some of their names. I remember Piper and Lachlan, and yeah, I'm drawing a blank on the rest of the family. I don't know. I just think maybe it's me, and maybe you guys will let me know in the comments if you disagree. But I just feel like this was really a shit season. Why I couldn't stop watching it though. I think it is kind of that thing where shows will cash in on their prestige, and I hope that's not the case because honestly, I think this could be it's a fun idea. The formula is cool as long as you keep it fresh. Rich people going to an island and getting up to all types of debauchery is a very fun concept that opens up a lot of dramatic options. But I also feel like there comes a point where it might even feel like they're not being inventive anymore. And I felt like we kind of crossed the event horizon with season 3. I like how they have a mixture of up and coming actors and then of course old vets. I've never once watched White Lotus and thought I'm watching actors on a show. So I will give it that. Like the acting is always super duper cool. The performances were awesome. Everyone had chemistry, even the brothers. No, okay, you know what? I want to get into the spoiler section. So if you haven't seen the last episode, maybe come back to this video once you have. We'll go 3, 2, 1, Spoiler section. I thought the payoff to the show was fucking god-awful. I thought it was terrible. I thought that the symbolism they valued above having an actual plot point that wrapped up the character's journey was really, to me personally, cheap. I thought the Ratliff family's payoff, they really just pulled the punch on that one. Like the blender, right? Lachlan goes in, drinks the poisonous fruit, and he gets his life back because what? Rick dies? Dude, that's so stupid. And I know it's like, listen, it's the symbolic thing of like Thailand and the show, and they talked about reincarnation earlier on. It just seemed to me to be out of place with what the show has been going for. This show is meant to highlight the absolute worst of people, and really, I feel like carries with it this vibe of life happening to you. Like, life can make a fool out of you, and everyone gets their comeuppance. I mean, that's, you know, the name of I think the episode was something about karma anyways. They pulled a lot of punches, man. Especially, like, look, when the brother talks to the other brother about him jerking him off, which is a crazy sentence. I mean, not that I was going to be able to monetize this video anyways, but there goes that option down the drain once we make it on the channel. They talk about it once, and then it's done. I feel like the core of the show has been everything comes to a crescendo in a quick second. You know, all the symbolic meaning behind a character can get stripped away, and they can be made a fool of. Kind of like Rick. The dad almost kills his family. I feel like I would have had more respect for the show. And here comes a hot take, ladies and gentlemen. If they had actually just killed off the entire Ratliff family. I never felt like there was once a real payoff in the end of that show. Remember, it doesn't have to be a payoff that you like, but there has to be some sort of a payoff. I felt like this show played around with its ideals more than it actually delivered upon it. The three women getting back together and being friends, I thought, honestly, the resolution to that was kind of shitty because she turns a corner and says she's just happy to be at the table. When the entire show, the idea has been that she is jealous of these two women. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I'm not remembering. The woman and her son getting the payout, awesome. They turn a page on her character too, where it's like, yeah, she just, as soon as she comes into money, she dubs the guy she's with and runs off to be rich. I thought that wasn't that bad of a plot line. Like, that makes sense for the show. That's what the show should be about. It should be about exposing how quickly people fold and how quickly life can hit you and make you look stupid. I felt like there was inconsistent messaging, and I felt like there was an inconsistent vibe and tonage around the finale of this show that I didn't really appreciate. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below about the show, about your thoughts on my analysis of the show. And without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next one.